Ever feel like you're capable of so much more, but something's holding you back? Like there's this invisible ceiling? And
Mm,
we're going to try to smash through that today.
love it.
We're diving into a book today all about how we can unlock our potential.
It's a fascinating read. What I really find captivating is this idea that we're often held back not by actual limitations, but by beliefs we've unknowingly accepted as absolute truths.
Hmm.
We're kind of living in a self-made prison.
Whoa, self-imposed prison.
Yeah.
That's pretty intense, isn't it?
It is intense, but it's meant to be. The book starts off with this really radical question. What if instead of assuming the universe is kind of out to get us, you know, hostile and working against us,
Yeah.
what if we considered a more, shall we say, benevolent universe?
Okay.
One that's actually brimming with opportunity if we could only open our eyes to see it, right?
I can totally see how that shift in thinking could be a real game changer. I know I've been stuck in that negative world is against me mindset more times than I can count.
It's so common though, isn't it? But here's the thing. The book argues that this negative mindset doesn't just impact our mood. It really holds us back. It stifles our creativity, limits our learning,
Yeah.
and even blinds us to genuine opportunities that are right there in front of us.
It's like we're building walls around ourselves, and then we wonder why we feel so stuck.
Exactly. And here's where it gets even more interesting, right? So the book delves into this whole concept of internal representations.
Okay, I've heard of those.
It's basically all about the mental images we create, the stories we tell ourselves and about the world around us.
So our perception of reality, our own internal reality, is more important than what's actually happening.
Well, it's not about one being more important than the other, but more about the filter, right? Think of it like a lens.
Hmm.
These internal representations, they actually shape how we experience everything.
Okay.
And so often we end up giving way more weight to our own limiting beliefs than to the actual evidence around us.
It's like we're looking at the world through a distorted lens, convincing ourselves that everything's gloom and doom, even if it's not.
Yeah, it's like wearing those trick glasses.
Yeah.
And that's where the self-sabotage kicks in, you know?
It really is.
You get an amazing opportunity, but that inner voice chimes in, oh, you're not good enough, or you're going to fail anyway.
Yeah,
And we hold ourselves back, convinced it's the truth,
Yeah.
right?
totally. There's that quote, I think it's from the book, that really hit me hard. It said, "We see the world as we are."
Oh, that's a powerful one.
Like we're projecting our own internal world onto our external reality.
And the thing is, even if those limitations feel incredibly real, we can practically taste and smell them, they might just be constructs of our own making.
So how do we break free? So how do we even begin to dismantle these mental prisons? Where do we even start?
Well, the book argues that it all starts with awareness,
Yeah.
right? Like recognizing that we make judgments all the time about ourselves and others.
Yeah.
But these judgments, they're often based on our own insecurities, our fears, It's like we project our own baggage onto others without even realizing it.
Ouch. Yeah, that's a tough one to admit, isn't it? I know I've definitely been guilty of judging too quickly without having the full picture.
Oh, we all have, right? But that's kind of the first step. Admitting that our judgments, they aren't always an accurate reflection of reality.
Right.
It's about understanding that those judgments, they often say more about us than the person or the situation we're judging.
So how do we shift those internal filters then? I mean, it feels like they're so deeply ingrained,
For sure. And that's where the book talks about this value shift. Have you heard of that?
No, tell me more.
Basically, it challenges us to examine what we're really chasing after in life, Like,
Yeah.
what metrics are we using to define our own success?
Okay, I'm
Are
listening.
we chasing external validation, things like status and recognition? Or are we pursuing something deeper, something more internally fulfilling?
Yeah, it's like we get so caught up with chasing these shiny objects, thinking they're the key to happiness and fulfillment.
It's easy to get caught up in that. But the book, it uses this really great analogy. It talks about a hot air balloon.
Okay, I like where this is going.
So imagine this. Your big dream is to soar high in this hot air balloon, right?
Yeah.
But you're weighed down by all these sandbags, the need for approval, the constant pursuit of status, all those external pressures.
Yeah, I can see it now.
And to really soar, to reach your full potential, you have to identify those unnecessary burdens and just cut them loose.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
It's like we're holding ourselves back by clinging to things that we think we need,
Yeah.
but they're actually holding us down.
Exactly. And the book argues that when we shift our focus, when we prioritize values like growth, contribution, exploration,
Yeah.
that's when we start fueling that internal fire. We stop feeding into those external pressures.
So it's not about what we're supposed to be chasing after. It's about what genuinely lights us up as individuals.
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
But how do we even begin to identify those core values?
Yeah.
It seems like a daunting task.
It takes some soul searching, for sure. The book actually talks about the power of visualization for that.
Visualization. I've always been a little, I don't know, skeptical of that whole
And
idea.
I get it. I get it. It sounds a bit woo-woo, right?
Hmm,
But there's some actual science behind it.
really?
Yeah. So when we vividly imagine positive outcomes, right? Like we really visualize ourselves achieving these goals,
Yeah.
it actually creates new neural pathways in our brains. It primes us for success.
Wow. So it's not just wishful thinking. Our brains don't necessarily know the difference between us vividly imagining something and us actually experiencing it.
Exactly. So by visualizing that brighter future, we're not just daydreaming, right? We're literally shaping our reality step by step.
That's amazing. So we're challenging those limiting beliefs, we're shifting our values, and we're visualizing our dream future. What's next in this journey of unlocking our potential? So we're talking about shaping our own reality, but let's be real for a second. Life doesn't always go according to plan. We're going to hit some roadblocks, right?
Yeah.
Does the book address that at all?
Oh, absolutely. It acknowledges that the path to unlocking our potential, it's not always going to be smooth sailing. We're going to encounter storms, right?
Yeah, for sure.
But it's not about avoiding the storms altogether. It's about how we navigate them. That's what makes all the difference.
So we have to learn to embrace failure, or at least change our relationship with it.
Exactly. And the book actually, it highlights how, like, great inventors, for example, people who accomplish these incredible feats, they often view failure not as a full stop, but as a necessary detour on the road to success. They don't let it define them.
Yeah. It's about learning from those mistakes and coming back even stronger.
Absolutely. And that leads us to another crucial point that the book emphasizes: discipline and enthusiasm.
Okay.
Because you can have all the right tools, the best strategies in the world, but without the discipline to keep showing up, even when it's tough, even when your enthusiasm is waning a little bit,
Yeah.
it's easy to lose momentum.
So we have to cultivate that inner drive, that fire that keeps us going, even when things get tough.
Yes, exactly. And the book uses this really cool analogy of a mountain. You know how no matter the season, no matter how fierce the storm, the mountain, it stands strong and steady.
Oh, yeah.
It weathers every obstacle. And I think it's such a powerful reminder that true growth, real transformation, it often happens outside our comfort zone. And it's that inner strength that allows us to push through.
I love that. It's like that unshakable spirit, our own inner mountain, that helps us reach those new heights.
Precisely. And it all comes back to this empowering idea. We have way more power than we realize to shape our own realities, but it starts with challenging those limiting beliefs.
Right.
Embracing a growth mindset, and recognizing the immense power that's within each and every one of us.
This deep dive has been incredible.
Yeah.
We talked about everything from recognizing those self-imposed limitations to understanding the tools and mindsets that can help us break free. So if you could leave our listeners with one final thought, one thing to really ponder after they finish listening, what would it be?
That's a great question. I think I'd go back to that hot air balloon analogy we talked about earlier. What limiting beliefs are you carrying around that might be weighing you down? What do you need to let go of so you can finally soar? And then what values will you choose to fuel that incredible journey upward?
Such powerful questions. Everyone listening, really take some time to sit with those. This whole conversation has been a call to action. It's time for all of us to step into our full potential. And remember, growth isn't always a straight line. There will be detours. You'll encounter storms along the way. But by embracing those lessons, cultivating that resilience, and never losing sight of your own inner strength, you can achieve incredible things. Until next time, keep exploring, keep growing, and keep believing in that limitless potential within each of you.